BS.
It just gets better every time.
Yes, it does, my boy. Yes, it does. It is I, lovable baby boy Brain, part of Super BS, a podcast about video games mostly, and that person who said a lie that it gets better every time, because it doesn't. It gets bestest every time. As everybody knows, the English language, bestest is a lot more preferable to use than better. Look in Webster's. Jerk. So that jerk who didn't look in Webster's dictionary, what is that jerk's name? Reveal yourself, you jerk.
Copy editor Josh, video producer Josh, podcast extraordinaire, video game player, world's most casual player, gamer.
Okay. Shut up. None of those are real titles.
I've accomplished so many things in my life. It's hard for me to sit here and talk about all of them.
Well, I mean, yeah, the things you've accomplished is sucking hard and not playing all the very good video games that I've suggested to you, like Elden Ring. How many times have you beat Elden Ring yet? Tell me that. And then
at least 4, and then I rewrote Webster's dictionary twice because I have to keep updating it every time you make up words.
I've never made up a word. Splendoricent is one of the most well-known words ever, and I will use it always. Okay, my boy, before we get to the thing that everybody doesn't want to hear about video games, what have you been doing, huh? You've been just watching all your Marvels. You've been watching Buzz Lightyear. You've been watching Jurassic Park.
Okay, I for some reason, I don't know why we did not talk about Jurassic Park last week, because I watched it.
It's because I didn't watch it yet, and I know you like to spoil things, so don't spoil it.
I've never done that. I mean, you can go back and listen to all the old episodes.
If you want things spoiled, or if you don't want things spoiled, don't listen to any of the old episodes.
It's never happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's funny, too, because it's like, I feel like you don't think you're spoiling things because you'll say something like, oh, yeah, and just this part. And it's like, wait, what? That's not something that everybody knows anyways.
It's not spoiling, though. Spoiling would be if I told you what happens right before the credits roll. It's fine. We're good.
So every other thing is on the table?
Every other thing's fine. It's fine. We're good.
Okay. So did you watch and love Jurassic Park 3 or Jurassic World 3?
I did, actually. Like, it was a lot better than I thought it would be. You know, I was kind of expecting a what do you call it? Like a Spider-Man 3 issue where they try to wrap things up but also like set up another bunch of movies. And
you mean like one of the greatest films ever, Spider-Man 3, with the number one emo scene ever, where we've already discussed multiple times on this
podcast. Yeah, no, but
it is one of the greatest scenes ever.
I enjoyed it. Did you see it? You get a chance to catch it?
No, I'm gonna watch it soon, hopefully. Don't spoil it. Is it better at least than Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom? That's a spoiler. Don't tell me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that one's not very good.
I feel like Jurassic Park has always wanted to be a horror movie, and I think with Fallen Kingdom, it was a horror movie.
Yeah, yes and no. I feel like it was like it felt almost like low budget horror because it all took place in that one house. Whereas like the original Jurassic Park, they were traveling all around. You weren't sure what to expect. I mean, that's what made it great. Well, if I were to rank all of them, and you can give me your ranking right after, I would go Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World, and maybe Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World would flip nowadays. I haven't gone back to 3 for a while. Jurassic Park 2 Lost World, and then Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom.
That's
so I haven't got to the new one yet.
If I were to rank all the movies, I would go Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And then, but this is not, I'm sorry. I forgot the new one, but I'm not going to rank that because you haven't watched it yet. So
okay. No, real talk. We need to be serious for 1 second in our GD lives. What is your actual ranking of Jurassic Park? Because you just copied my ranking.
No, I didn't. I switched them. I actually really liked The Lost World, so I put that at number 2.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought you said The Lost World was right above Fallen Kingdom again because I heard the truth.
No.
I just hear the truth. I can't hear lies. So
I actually really liked The Lost World, but
really,
I did.
that plotting, boring, nothing happens film with where they removed two of the main characters and only left you with one of the best, Jeff Goldblum. But still, oh man, even as a kid, I didn't like that movie. I thought that was like
I don't know,
super lame.
Because here's the thing, like I remember I went to see that movie for a friend's birthday. I forget, we were kids. I forget how old we were when that movie came out, but then I remember like that Christmas, my mom and dad got me the giant RV and the T-Rex from the movie and like the high hide. So like, dude, Christmas Day, man, I was watching that movie on VHS and I had my big old trailer set up. I had my high hide. I had my dinosaurs. And back then it was the ones where you could like stick them in the dinosaurs' mouths. Remember the dinosaurs had the slit in the belly and you could like pull the characters out when you're done having them being eaten by dinosaurs.
That is pretty cool. I was too poor to get the big one like you did, I guess. And also, we were 15 when that movie came out. Were you watching
this
that?
Was last year. Yeah, this was...
you were playing with these in high school?
Yeah, I was just dusted off the VHS player.
You brought your RV to the high school.
To school, yep.
To schooler.
Yeah, we were like, hey, you play Mass Effect? No, dude, Jurassic World or Lost World for life.
Lost World for life, bro. I don't play any video games. I just play toys like a true adult.
Let me just I did watch Moonfall. Okay.
What is that?
It's that Roland Emmerich movie that came out earlier this year. Has Halle Berry
where he falls off the moon?
No, where like the moon is like falling towards Earth.
That sounds really scary.
And it's really an exact this relates to video games. It is almost an exact knockoff of Halo.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were going to say it's an exact knockoff of The Last of Us.
This idea that... So in this movie, the moon is like a hollow structure that was built by pre-existing humans. But
Forerunners.
Inside the moon is all these different halos. They're a bunch of revolving halos.
Halo.
And so the humans they built AI that wiped them out, and so they reseeded life across the galaxy, just like the Forerunners.
Oh, I'm glad nobody wants to see Moonfall because we just had the movie spoiled to us.
I'm sorry. It's been like 6 months. If you're not going to watch it, it's...
Wait, it was that long ago?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Anyways,
I thought it was like last week. I thought you were saying it was in the theater.
No, it's been out. Like I bought it from in the Redbox machine for like $2. It's cheaper than renting it, so I bought it.
Okay.
I'm thrifty like that.
I like how it's thriftier to buy something. You could just do like I did, the smart choice, which is never watch it in your life because it's probably not that good anyways. So, and you wouldn't miss out.
I wouldn't have been able to tell you about it.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to spoil the ending for Moonfall. A movie I won't watch, so you are right. But I now don't need to watch. I know how it ends.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Have you been playing any games at all? Because I know you just like watching terrible apocalyptic horror films about the world ending.
I will accept that compliment, and I will answer your question.
It's not a compliment.
Okay, so let me first start off by saying, for Father's Day, I was gifted a copy of Tiny Tina's Wonderland Next Level Edition.
You were gifted that to your dad, you mean? You're not a real dad. You've got a dad, okay? You can't be a dad. If you have a dad, you can't be a dad, okay? Everybody knows how it works.
It's the rules. Everybody knows this. No, I got
Who gifted this to you?
My wife did. And then my mom gifted me a copy of Control Ultimate Edition.
Don't you have both of these? Like,
no,
this is the one thing I'm not... Oh, I thought you had both of these games.
No, I kept wanting to go get it, and then I just didn't. So...
Okay.
Now I have them.
Nice.
Anyways, that's completely off topic because I haven't played either of them.
Well, that's good. I mean, we always want to talk about the stuff that we own but don't play. That's the main thing I like.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. It's what I do. I live vicariously through things I haven't done yet.
Through talking about the idea that you may one day get around to it.
This is just like how kids nowadays would rather watch somebody play video games on Twitch as opposed to playing them themselves. So...
No, I mean, that makes sense.
Just part of that fallen generation. YOLO.
Okay,
anyways,
well, what have you actually played?
So I did play. I've been talking about this for a long time, saying I want to check this game out, and I finally did. Got some free, got some Amazon dollars for teacher appreciation, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, man. So I purchased me a copy of Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice. On
And,
PC or PS5?
on PC. So I plugged my my Omen HP laptop into the TV. Been playing Final Fantasy 14 on the old 65-inch Samsung. And yeah, man. And I gotta say,
How does it look though? Since you're up-resing essentially a small screen to a big one.
it looks good. I mean, it's not like graphically breathtaking by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's old too, so it's not like, you know, it doesn't look anything like 15 or even I would say it's not even, you know, it doesn't really look much like 13. But
Okay.
anyways, like it looks like a PC game. Like it looks like it looks better than Final Fantasy 11, but it's still like it looks like a 2010 PC game, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
And why did you decide to get it on PC instead of PS5 since you have a PS5?
Wow, I'm sorry. My throat something got caught in my throat here.
It's because you don't know what to lie. You don't know
Yeah,
the
I'm
lie
sorry.
to use to explain why you're not getting it on
Exactly.
PS5. That's
No,
why things are getting caught in your throat.
I don't know. My wife had called me out for having this gaming laptop and not actually gaming on it. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll game on it. So I bought it on PC.
Okay. What if your wife calls you out for not jumping off a cliff? Are you going to jump off a cliff?
Probably.
That sounds smart.
At least she'll stop making fun of me then.
I mean, she'll still make fun of you, but after
Yeah.
you're dead, she'll still make a lot. She'll be making hella fun of you.
Ooh.
Okay, so how is Final Fantasy 14? Outside of the fact that it's 1 trillion hours and you have infinite time, so you're gonna beat it on
Yeah.
all the
Well,
expansions.
so I got a month for free, so I'm just kind of like playing this month and seeing if deciding if I'm gonna do another subscription after this. Anyways, I do like it. I like it a lot. Like 11 was incredibly frustrating to me because you couldn't do anything by yourself. This game is designed for a single player, and
Okay.
they have dungeon crawls. You know, you can go through and do the dungeon. What do you call it? What do you call that when you get a bunch of buddies together and you go into a dungeon? What's the name for that?
I mean, they have raids if you're doing a bigger
Raids,
dungeon,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like normally dungeons, you just like go into dungeons.
Yeah, so they have raids. Like you can set and there's like little blue boxes on the map that have little archways on them, and it's supposed to represent like a dungeon. And there's people out there that tell you like, hey, you need to have buddies to go into do this. You can't do this one by yourself. But all the content outside of the dungeons is designed for a single player. So, you know,
Okay.
I've been able to easily go from like level 1 up to I think I made it up to level 28 last night. And so every time you go to a different town, there's different quests. You know, the same thing with like a regular Final Fantasy game. There's little like exclamation marks on certain parts on the map, and you kind of go get your side quests, and then that's how you level up, and you can sit there and grind if you want to. But I don't know. I mean, besides all the dialogue, all the text on the screen, I mean, it's not really much different from a regular Final Fantasy game. You know, and it's been fun so far, but there's just so much on it. I don't know if I'm going to do anything outside the main story.
I just do love that you're coming to an MMORPG to try to find single player content. Like there are plenty of single player RPGs out there, but you're deciding to go to a game type that's designed to be played with others, and you're like, I'm just glad you played single player now.
This is like I did a lot of research on this, and it was not designed to play specifically with other people. It was designed for the people who bailed from Final Fantasy XI because they couldn't play by themselves, and that's what really like attracted me to the game was the fact that
So then
I could.
Why wouldn't they have just created a single player game like Final Fantasy 16?
Because
that's
they
who it was
want to
designed
give
for?
you the option, because they have like content where you have to play with other people, but it's not part of the main story.
Okay, I think anybody who's making an MMORPG isn't planning on, everybody plays solo for forever. And I don't think the people who go to those games should expect to play solo and never group up, because the game is an MMO, a massively multiplayer online
Right.
game.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's
otherwise they could have just made a co-op RPG. You know what I mean? Like game that has co-op elements.
That's true. They could have. And I didn't play the original version before A Realm Reborn came out, but
Yeah.
so I don't really know what it was like before that. So perhaps it was designed to be played with people specifically, but I don't know. I have enjoyed my time with it so far. I don't know if I'm going to play it past my 30-day free subscription, but we'll see. And
You're going to be playing it for the next 30 months, okay? Not 30 days
so I was
if you want to finish
reading,
it.
It says it's like 120 hours to play through the main campaign of the game. So
There you go. You only got 120 hours, and then you got probably another 200 hours with all the expansions they've added.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know, man. Hey, you should jump on it, dude. We'll go play things together, you know?
I don't go to MMOs to play single player games. I'm not you. Honestly, I'm never going to play Final Fantasy. Thank you. I am a fool for not going to. That'd be like if I went to Halo online multiplayer and was like, why are there enemies here? I just want to play by myself and shoot the wall. And I turn to the wall and shoot it for the entire time. Is that what I should do? Is that what I should do?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm probably never going to play Final Fantasy XIV. It holds no interest to me. The idea that it's like hundreds of hours to finish. And I also feel like the combat is the same as WoW. I don't know if you ever played WoW back in the day, but it reminds me exactly of that. You wait and your character takes turns and does action stuff. I just don't, I have no interest.
It's not really. It's kind of more set up like Final Fantasy 15's combat where you like...
No. So you're saying it's full action when you click your mouse in, your character swings their sword immediately and does damage?
Yeah, exactly.
So they changed it from when I played it where you had an action bar and you would click on an enemy and you click to attack and then your character would have to wait a certain amount of time.
Yes, so there's buttons and you do attacks. So you can do like...
No. The normal attack, is it just continuously you could just spam attack?
Well, you have to. It has a timer, so
okay. So it's the same as
you press the button, but then you have to wait like 2 seconds before you're able to attack again.
Yes, yeah, it's the same as WoW. So it's not an action RPG. It's
WoW. All right, WoW. Really.
I'm just saying, like it is that style of game. It's the same as when I played it. You know, probably 8-10 years ago now for like a few hours and realized like, oh, I don't like this style of game anymore. But a game style that I semi-like, but I got more FOMO than anything, is I picked up a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade on my Steam Deck, my bro.
You're just like looking for any excuse to bust out that Steam Deck.
Dude, that Steam Deck is a beautiful, beautiful thing, my man. You got to get one.
Is this how you like introduce yourself to new people too? You're like, hey, I have a Steam Deck. Brian Wegner, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I mean, that's my main thing. I actually wear a shirt that says I'm with Steam Deck, and it points up to me. Yeah, no, it's great, dude. The fact it runs at 60 FPS on the Steam Deck with like pretty good texture quality blows my mind. Like, it is phenomenal. Yeah, so I've just kind of been dinking around with that. That's been pretty fun. I've only put in like a handful of hours, but yeah, I've really just been decking it up, as they like to say, deck the halls, while waiting for any of the games to come out. Oh, and I also played TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Ever heard of it?
Never heard of it.
I mean, it's pretty cool. For a brawler, it's pretty fun. I've only played through the first level because brawlers aren't my favorite game type, but I do feel like if you had like your household, if everybody wanted to play it, it'd be pretty fun together. It can play up to 6 players.
Can you jump in and out of the game like in the old arcade game?
Yep.
Nice.
And your characters can level up and get more stats and stuff. It's really good. I would definitely recommend it to anyone, especially if you have an Xbox, because it's on Game Pass, so you don't even have to pay the $25. Just play it. Yeah, I really dig it. You have to unlock Casey Jones, so I didn't get to play as him. I played as Leo.
Dang, man.
But you can switch up which turtle you play every level. And there's also like side missions and stuff, and you can roll around in the turtle van through the city, which is kind of fun. Now it's on like a path, so you can't really like go anywhere you want. It's like a Super Mario World path.
So is it a 2D game, like a side scroller, or what?
Well, yes, but the when you're done with each mission, there's an overworld that you go to get to the next mission. So it's like the Overcooked map if you've ever played that. But imagine if you were on but imagine if you were on a set path like Super Mario World. So it's actually a lot more like Super Mario World.
I'm not on a set path. If I
well, you are on a set path, and
I'll take a left turn.
You don't get to do any of that stuff. Real quick, before we get to some awesome news, have you been buying any old games at all recently that you need to share with us? Because I feel like that is your thing. I just need to know if you're wasting your money. I got to hear about it.
No, I ordered a copy a couple days ago of Real Monsters, new in box, Sega Genesis.
Why?
Because it was next on my Sega Genesis list. Also, like, it was $20, and I was like, why not? It's complete inbox, brand new.
Have you
never opened.
Played that game, though?
I have not played that game.
Okay, is it supposed to be good?
I don't think so. I collect things, so I bought it.
Will you ever turn it on, do you think, or no?
It's unopened. I don't know if I'd open it.
Oh, wow. Okay,
So this is what I'm doing, all right? Every time I buy, so I'll probably play it at some point, because every time I buy a game, I will put an emulator on the arcade that I have in my living room of that game.
Okay.
So that when I want to play things, I don't have to go get the Sega Genesis out of the closet. I can just turn it on the arcade.
I love this Mr. Physical Media man doesn't even want to play the actual physical media he buys, just gets digital versions of it anyways.
I will not go silently into this all digital future. We've talked about this.
You essentially are going silently into it because the only thing you're doing is buying these games, but you're not actually playing them. You're just playing the digital versions anyways.
You know what?
So, what?
Stop.
I won't stop. I will keep going.
Stop using my words against me.
Help this man. Help him. We need a hotline for you.
To be fair, like, I do play my old cartridges. Just the stuff that are in boxes I don't really open.
Okay. We'll let that one slide. Okay, but what we won't let slide is that Key 3 is still going on. It didn't end last week after we were done. They kept doing it. Even right after we finished, Capcom did a showcase. So since the last time our podcast went up, there was a showcase between recording and airing. And yeah, they announced a bunch of cool Resident Evil stuff. Did you get a chance to watch this or read any of the news?
Yes, I did watch it.
I
did read some news. My question here is the DLC in third person only, or can I play that in first person?
No, it's in third person only.
Why would they do that?
I think they're trying to move back to the Resident Evil 4 and the new remake structure. I don't know exactly why. I think the first person's really good. I'm all for people having choice. But yeah, it is frustrating that it seems like they're going back to
Village
third.
So good though, and Biohazard because it was terrifying because it felt like you were that person.
Well, I mean, you can go back and experience Village in third person and see if you like it as much because they added that. I believe that's free content, but that is coming to Resident Evil Village as well. Well, you're going to have to, okay?
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know you're listening. I don't want to.
Oh, I guess to get the Village third-person mode, you have to buy the expansion, which doesn't really matter because I'm going to buy it anyways. I loved Resident Evil 2, so I'm not like you. I'm cool. I'm not opposed to the third-person mode. I do like the first-person mode a lot. I definitely am kind of disappointed that it sounds like that's ending. But the two games that were in first person were great, so at least it will always be something that we had. It's a time that we had together, okay? So, yeah, man, what beyond the awesome news of, and no spoilers, that the expansion is going to take place after Village with a character that's kind of shown after Village. What else stood out to you about the Capcom showcase? Was there anything else that you're like, wow, this is really cool? Because I'm really stoked for that DLC.
Yeah, the DLC's cool. I like seeing more footage of the Resident Evil 4 remake, but I'll tell you, man, like when they originally aired that footage of the dinosaur game, this was like last year sometime. Yeah. I was like, oh, right, that looks kind of cool, but now that I've seen more of it, I'm not as stoked on it as I was just because it seems like a game that looks really much like Lost Planet. You remember that? Like it looked really cool in videos, but then when you played it, it was not that good.
Yeah, well, so Exoprimal, since they announced it, sounded terrible to me because it was always going to be like a Left 4 Dead, Back 4 Blood, PvPvE style, like you're fighting with your friends versus dinosaurs. Yeah, it has no interest to me. If they were doing like a Dino Crisis, I think is the name of the game, their old series, yeah, I'd be interested in that because I think the Resident Evil games are incredible. So the idea of like a Dino Crisis in the new RE engine would have been phenomenal. But yeah, Exoprimal might as well have not been on this list as far as I'm concerned. It looks terrible. It's coming in 2023. About that DLC we talked about, I don't want to say what it's called because that will give away stuff. But it is coming out. Oh, never mind. I won't give away. It's called the Winters expansion. It's coming out October 28th, 2022. We don't know the price yet. They're adding another character to Mercenaries, a few characters, Lady Dimitrescu.
Did that actually come out yet, or was it?
I don't think so. I think that's all coming out around the same time, October 28th. Yeah, I believe they're all coming out October 28th. They gave us some free next-gen upgrades for RE2 Remake, RE3 Remake, and RE7. Are you going to go back to those?
Yeah, actually, I played Resident Evil 2, did not get a chance to play Resident Evil 3, so I might spend some time in that at some point.
You think, okay, so you'll get to try out the upgrade. But see, the thing for me that's hard is, like, I love those games, but I'm not really interested in trying the next-gen upgrades.
Yeah.
It's nothing against them. I just already beat the game, so I don't see what I would really get out of it.
I mean, I have that same opinion with a lot of the games that I've played. Like, there's games I own that I love, but I don't love them enough to go back and play them just because they've been upgraded.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm stoked that those upgrades exist. Like, it makes me excited that if I ever want to go back to those, I don't need to buy a next-gen copy. It's like, oh, it's already there. Yeah. I'm also going to be realistic, and I probably won't go back and play them because they were short single-player games that released in 2019 or in 2020 and earlier, so I already played through them all. Yeah. But that being said, it was cool. So those are free upgrades that are coming out. That multiplayer add-on that they've talked about since RE Village came out, RE-verse, that's supposedly coming out October 28th, the same day as all the DLC.
Didn't that like disappear for a while? And they're like, oh,
it was supposed to come out last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. They announced some Monster Hunter stuff. I don't think we're the audience to talk about that.
Yeah.
And they announced that Street Fighter 6 is going to get another announcement in 2022. But the real big boy, the baddie that they announced was that Dragon Dogma's 10th anniversary, there was going to be another event for later that week. And guess what? By George, they did it. They announced Dragon's Dogma 2. Did you ever play Dragon's Dogma?
No, I bought a copy of it, though, after I watched the Netflix show.
Well, I'm glad you bought a copy. They needed your sale, or else they would have given up. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. I have not played Dragon's Dogma, even though I purchased it for Steam Deck, so I've turned it on and tried it out.
Oh, so you bought a copy and didn't play it either.
For Steam Deck. Actually, I've turned it on, unlike you. I've actually gotten through the intro.
That too, so.
Yeah. You what?
What?
You'll sue me? Well, I'm not going to, you can't sue me on what grounds, okay? I turned it on, you haven't, I'll sue you. Yeah, well, anyways, this has been long announced, and the people who love Dragon's Dogma, well, one, they're probably a little crazy. Not that it's a bad game, but they're like insane people because it's not worth like going crazy over. But they announced this in like 2019 that they were working, or the idea that they were going to be working on Dragon's Dogma 2. This is the first actual announcement that it's coming. I'm pretty stoked, man. I mean, it seems like people love it. The original came out in 2012, so a decade ago. Yeah. So who knows when Dragon's Dogma 2 is going to come out? Like, it's going to probably be 12 to 14 years after the original. When was the
last Witcher game? When did that come out?
The last Witcher came out in 2015.
Okay, all right, yeah. Because I was saying it feels like we're getting close to like 10 years with the Witcher 4.
No, not at all. I mean, we got a lot of other games that are in the 10-year mark at this point, but The Witcher is not one of them. I think Witcher's going to be able to hit 4 on the 10th anniversary. I think by 2024, 2025, we'll get Witcher 4.
Yeah. Because then it will be close to that 10-year mark, though.
Well, it will be 10. Yeah, it'll probably be about between 9 and 10 years from Witcher 3 to Witcher 4. This, though, I mean, you got to remember that they're a small studio and they made Cyberpunk. So it's not like they had nothing that they made. They made that in 2020, so 5 years after The Witcher. So they've been doing pretty good. Dragon's Dogma, obviously Capcom, a big company. They have a bunch of stuff they're working on. I guess the guy who made Devil May Cry 5, he chose Devil May Cry 5 over Dragon's Dogma 2. So that's why that came out first. I'm relatively excited. I guess I'm more interested than excited. Like, I want to see what Dragon's Dogma 2 looks like. The little I played of Dragon's Dogma 1 is neat, but it is a very old game. So it's not like, doesn't have any of the modern trappings you'd want out of an kind of an open world-ish, which is kind of what I'm gathering. I haven't really got too deep into it, but open world-ish standard single-player RPG. So after the Capcom showcase, Square Enix did some real sly thing. They announced they were doing a 10-minute anniversary showcase for Final Fantasy VII. You want to go down what they announced here, my boy?
Yeah, so we got a bunch of stuff for the mobile game. What is that, First Soldier?
First Soldier, the game that's the one we want to talk about. That's actually why I brought this up. First Soldier's the biggie. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah, so they did a bunch of stuff. Like, is that free to play, or is that something?
Yeah, it's only on iOS and Google Android.
Yeah, that's right. And then they talked a little bit about Ever Crisis. So that game's been rumored to come out for a while. We got to see some footage of it. I think it was last year sometime.
It looks really cool. I hate that it's coming to mobile. Like if this was even a Switch and Steam Deck thing, I'd be down. Like, you know, also consoles be rad, but the fact it's coming to mobile only, I have no interest. It looks really cool, but it's so lame.
I mean, if you're because I mean, you can easily, we've talked about this before, but you could easily like hook up your Xbox controller to your phone, you know, and play.
Yeah, you could, but it's the least interesting platform for me. I don't know if you feel the same, but it's
No,
like
I do feel the
I don't
same,
use
but I
my
mean,
phone to play games.
If there's something I want to play on mobile, like I'm okay, especially like looking at your TV behind you, like I'm sure that TV has some kind of like AirPlay function on there.
I don't actually have a TV. There's no TV behind me, so whatever you see is actually a lie. I don't even own a TV. I play the Xbox in my mind.
Let's talk narrative though for this game. It looks from what I understand.
Which game? Sorry, which game are we talking about? Narrative? Ever Crisis or First Soldier?
Yeah, so it's a mashup of all the Final Fantasy games.
Final Fantasy VII games.
7 games. Yeah, they didn't. I don't know if Dirge Cerberus is part of that, but
I believe it's all the Final Fantasy VII spinoffs. I believe it's Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus, and I don't know if there's another one that I'm forgetting about. I think it's just those 3. The original and those 2, but was there another Final Fantasy VII game?
There's a weird mobile game that came out. I forget what it's called. But
no, I know which one you're talking about, but I don't think they're going to talk about that. That's one where you play as the 2, Rudy and whatever their names are.
Yeah.
What was that game called? That game was called. Was that the last? No, not Last Order. Was another movie before Crisis.
I believe
Crisis, was the one.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's Advent Children, but I mean, I don't think that's going to be covered in the game.
Maybe. I mean, who knows, man? This is like the other reason why I have next to no interest in these style games is because like it's going to be a platform, right? It's not going to just be a game. They're going to try to make it episodic. They're going to try to make you buy multiple episodes.
Do you remember with Final Fantasy 15 Pocket, they did that? They're like, we're going to put it out in 4 episodes, and then nobody bought it, and so they finally like updated the game to put all the content on 1 episode, and then they're like, okay, now you can buy it for $3.
And it's also on like Xbox and Switch and everywhere else, Final Fantasy 15 Pocket. So it's like there are options to play that a lot of places.
Yeah.
I actually have been meaning to try it out. I've heard from the doctor that it's pretty interesting and fun, and I was like, man, I should just like pick it up one of these times it's on sale, because it's on sale a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I've been playing it on my phone like when I'm traveling. But one thing about Ever Crisis that I do think is cool is how they have the it's like all kind of like old style chibi looking characters as you're running around, but then when you go into the battle screens, it's like updated graphics with the that's the one thing that looks pretty cool about that game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it looks really cool. Like it's definitely something that we talked about it, I think, on this podcast a year ago or so when they announced it, and there were a lot of things I was really excited for about it, but I just can't care that it's on mobile. When it comes out, maybe I'll change my mind, but more likely than not, it will be like First Soldier, a game that, hey, you put that on Switch even, you put that on anything else, I'll probably actually give it a shot.
And I feel like at some point that will come to Switch, though.
I guess.
It makes sense that it would.
But it's right now only on mobile devices. So
all right, well, let's move on to something that's not mobile devices, all right?
Okay, well, I only want to talk about things I hate, so let's keep talking about mobile devices.
Fruit Ninja.
What else did they announce?
They announced a Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII reunion. All right, let's talk about this, all right? We were fully expecting an announcement saying, hey, Final Fantasy Remake Part 1 is coming to Xbox. And then they did not make that announcement because the exclusivity deal, I'm pretty sure, is running up in August because that's when Intergrade came out last year. I think it was just an extra year of exclusivity, if I remember reading
You always use that word, exclusivity. It's exclusivity.
Yeah, nativity,
I've always wondered that.
Exclusivity.
And nativity. It's actually
Nativity.
the exclusivity is the exclusion of the nativity from video games, which I'm just as appalled as you are by. This exclusivity.
See, I can make up words too. I'll put it in my next draft of Webster's.
You will, and you're going to do that today. I am very interested in Crisis Core. Like you, I was very disappointed that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 isn't coming to Xbox. I don't know why that's happening. I do think this might lend even more credence to the idea that Square Enix is going to be sold to Sony in the future, just because they are making very strange decisions in regards to certain properties like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. However, Crisis Core, the game that you just mentioned, is a game I'm really excited to play, and it's coming to everything, including Xbox. Supposedly, they're saying summer 2022. I don't think that's correct. I believe it was announced for
it was winter.
Fall or winter.
It's coming they said it's coming out this winter, like December, I think they said.
Okay. Yeah, it's really weird. The article I'm reading says summer. That's really weird. No, it's saying, it arrives in summer 22, Southern Hemisphere. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard of, because they're from Australia. So they're saying it's summer because that's their summer. Anyways, they announced it coming out in the winter. I thought it looked good. Obviously, I don't think it's as graphically appealing as Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I do think it looks really neat. Are you going to play it?
Yeah, absolutely. Is this a remake or is this a remaster? I think this is the
you and I discussed this.
Yeah, this is a hot debate going around the internet because I've been looking it up like crazy. And some people think it's a remaster, but it doesn't look remastered. It looks like everything's remade because the original game on PSP was very pixely.
Yeah, I think it is it's kind of like between the two, if you will. I believe it's supposed to be the exact same game. I would say it's more of a remake than a remaster because I don't think it's hard because I really do think they kept a lot of the old stuff. If you look at the faces and stuff, while the textures are better, they still move like maybe like a PS4, Xbox One game. They do not, and they're coming to those consoles, by the way. But they're no PS5, Series X. They don't look like Final Fantasy VII Remake. These are way lower res, just not as high quality. But they probably had to update some of the combat and things. So I guess it's going to be more like, it's either going to be a crazy remaster, unlike any remaster we've seen, where they do way more than just up-res the models, because this is just way more than that. These models look incredibly good compared to the PSP. Or it's going to be a low-key remake, where it's not nearly as good looking as Final Fantasy VII Remake, much lower budget, but it's kind of like that idea.
Yeah, well, if you look at the what do you call that, the display stuff? What did you call that last week? You said you didn't like the system with the bars.
Oh, the UI.
UI, yeah. The UI looks updated like the Final Fantasy Remake UI looks. So that's what makes me wonder if they're, making some of it.
And that texture cleanup is actually pretty easy, just fixing those textures. So, it's really hard to know. That is the truth. We will not know whether it's being remade or remastered till we get our hands on it. And even then, only people who have played the first and know it well. You played the first, right?
I did, yeah. I loved it. That's why I'm excited to play this.
So you'll know well. I did not play the first, and that's why I'm excited to play it, because I've heard good things, and I probably turned on 10 minutes of it at one point in my life because I didn't own a PSP, and they never put it out on Vita, or never put a way to play it on Vita.
Or any console. Like, it hasn't ever been available outside the PSP ecosystem.
So I'm really excited. I do hope they don't price this at $70. I don't think it's a $70 game at this point, but I have a feeling they're going to go full price at least. I think they're going to drop it at $60. Yeah. And the reason why I think that is because I paid full price for a game called Type 0, which sucked, and I only played a little bit of that, and that's almost exactly what this reminds me of.
Yeah, you could buy that game for $5 now online.
Of course, yeah. I bought it for full price. I was super excited. I was like, oh, man, it's going to be so cool. I can't wait. It was a PSP game that came to Xbox One and PS4, and boy, did I not like that game.
Yep.
It totally felt like a PSP game.
It did, yeah. I actually beat that game.
Really?
I did, yeah. Originally, that was supposed to be Final Fantasy 13 Agito, however you say that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I say it, but yes, I know that. It was... It's weird, man. I mean, that was one of those remasters, if you will, where they did make it look a lot better, but it was, if this is that, then this is going to be a bummer because they didn't make it feel like a console game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the one on the PSP version that I played was it felt pretty close to a console experience, just on a smaller screen. So,
because my issues with Type 0 was everything felt empty. It felt like there was very little you could do. It felt like you'd be kind of siphoned into battle arenas. You'd fight a monster, you'd leave. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like a very big game.
Nothing like that. Yeah, I mean, this is just your typical Final Fantasy fare. It feels to me it played more like 8 than Final Fantasy 7, but I mean, I'm okay with that. Just the way the character models were designed and all that. Do you think though that so they're calling this reunion? Do you think that this now is meant to tie into the shifted narrative of the remakes?
I mean, we'll have to wait to see. It's one of those. I don't think they're doing that big of a remake. So for Crisis Core, not the other remakes. So I don't think they're going to change the narrative at all, but I could be wrong, and I won't know because I didn't play the original. So
but do you think they're releasing this because of the ending of the Final Fantasy Remake Part 1, where we got to see Zack and Cloud walking together in like a different timeline?
Spoiler
or
for the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I guess it's a couple years old now. But I mean, it totally could be. I really don't think so. I think they want to give people a knowledge of who Zack is, so I do think that's why they're making it, but I don't know if they're trying to tie these all together, if that makes sense. Again, I'm the worst person to ask. I just think it looks neat. I was actually very impressed with the Final Fantasy VII anniversary showcase, if you will. I was expecting next to nothing about it, and we haven't even got to the biggest news. But before we get to that, one of the things they announced too there was Remake Intergrade was coming to Steam, which is I think why people were bummed it didn't come to Xbox. It was originally an Epic Game Store PC exclusive, so that's how I ended up buying it. I was just like, oh, it's on Steam, it's on sale for 30% off. Okay, I got FOMO. I was like, I want to see how this runs on the deck. But yeah, man, about Crisis Core, I'm super stoked about that. But get to the biggie. Talk about the biggie. Everybody wants to hear about Biggie.
Yeah. All right. So we got Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 Rebirth, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Right? And they showed us some footage of that. Announced it's supposed to be coming out next winter.
Yeah,
2020, winter of 2023.
I already will call BS on that. We'll see if this holds up, but I do not think it's going to be coming out winter 2023, which gives them the windows of December 2023 to March of 2024. I do not think it will come out.
That would put 2 big Final Fantasy releases in the same year.
What's the other one? Oh, 16?
16, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not really that concerned about that. I don't think that's a reason why they would hold it. I just don't think it's going to be done in time. I know they've been saying that they've been making good headway, and one really cool announcement they said is they've already started working on Part 3, so that is good. Yeah. So they've actually started working on something, so we might get Remake Part 3 before we're dead.
It's a trilogy. It's no longer... the rumor before was that it's going to be 4 parts, but now they've said it's going to be completed with a trilogy.
I think the real thing that we learned from this, because it's a trilogy and because it's coming out quick, is everybody really needs to start checking their expectations on what they expect from the original Final Fantasy VII. I am coming down to the point where I'm not even sure the gold saucer will be present in the remake. And that, to me, is like one of the biggest parts of that game. Like one of the most magical parts is going to the gold saucer.
Yeah.
So let alone Fort Condor or any of the other things, I don't think that they're going to fit all of Final Fantasy VII in 3 parts.
And I don't even think the open world's going to be part of this game.
No
think
way.
They're just going to go. We're going to get minimized experiences like we did with the first one. Do you think remember in the Final Fantasy VII they had a little like snowboarding side game? Do you think that's going to be part of it?
I don't think so. Real quick, though, to touch on your point, the opposite happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1. That's why I think all of us were getting worried what they were going to do with the rest or how many parts it was going to take to finish. They blew out Midgar. Midgar was only a 10-hour experience, and they made it so you could traverse lots of the areas, walk around tons of spots. So all I mean is like not trying to diminish what you've said, but this... I feel like they're going to do the opposite with the next parts, whereas like they blew out Midgar for Part 1, but they can't do... I mean, maybe they'll do a world map, but that would take so much time to make.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, yeah.
Like, are they going to make a car like Final Fantasy 15 where you drive around this huge open map with a car? I mean, they could do it. They've done it, but like...
motorcycle.
I don't see them spending that much time. So what I would really expect is like you're going to be walking to You know, wherever the town is where Red 13 is, because I believe they're going to go there. That place, that's going to be a cool place to explore. But I wouldn't even be surprised if they do a cutscene or like some type of way to get you between each zone, if you will.
Yeah, it'll be the airship. I'm sure we'll encounter Sid, you know, and he'll take us around on the airship. We won't actually get to explore anything on our own, though.
Yeah, I still, again, I hope we're both wrong. I hope there's going to be some type of 3D traversal. I think a lot of people would like that. I personally am of the opinion I don't need the traditional world map ever again in a Final Fantasy. I think it looks really strange in their modern art style to have like the main character tower over cities, you know, like they did in the old ways. But that being said, the way Final Fantasy 15 handled it, where you have an open world structure, I would love to see that. I just don't. I don't think they're going to put that in this game, because I think that's what took 15 so long to make, was putting that giant open world in there. Because if you look at it, the second part of 15 was so linear because they didn't have that type of creative time to make it as open.
I mean, that was like one of the best features of that game, though, was the ability to drive around and go to so many places.
Yeah, but the thing is, they didn't even finish it in their 8 years. That's why later they added the boat, like, 2 years, 3 years after the game came out? They added the boat to it, probably 2 years. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that difficult that they didn't finish it in almost 8 years. So I don't know. I would just tell... Go.
Oh, I was going to say, we should tell them, like, the big announcement, though, like, where it's being released. On the Game Boy, yeah.
The Game Boy and the GameCube.
Yeah,
it's a mix.
Was really excited about that.
Yeah, you have to plug in your Game Boy into your GameCube via the GameLink cable to actually play the game, like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Yeah.
And somebody has to carry a chalice. I don't know why they added that character, but you have to play 2-player, and one person, they have to carry the chalice. Dude, I would love it. I would be ecstatic if they ever brought that back for a game, just because it is the dumbest gaming idea ever. I hated it when I played it originally. I think there's probably nothing stupider that I hate more than the chalice. And I would just be so happy if they said, like, yeah, we're doing Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 and the chalice is back. It's like, wait, this isn't even part of
Chalice
the Final Fantasy VII. And you have to have a guy carry a chalice around the whole game with you. And it can't, oh man, that would be incredible. Anyways, yeah, it's only coming to PS5. Doesn't even have PC, which makes me think the PC version will come later again, like the first one, which is lame. My thoughts are, if it ever comes to Xbox and it doesn't end up coming soon, it's not going to come till the trilogy is actually done. Yeah. Or if not, it's going to come a lot closer to Remake Part 2 Rebirth coming out or whatever. I guess we should just start calling it Rebirth, because that's the name. How hyped are you? I mean, we talked about this game like last week. I think I said that there was no chance of it being announced or coming out, so I was wrong there. But I still think I'm right that it's not going to come out till 2024. I don't think it's coming out 2023. So it's going to be like 8 years, my guess is, by the time these games are all playable.
Oh, yeah,
like 2028.
I'm sure. But, you know, also, like, there are people now calling for other Final Fantasies to be remade. So, you know, we'll see what their project slate looks like and how much time they want to spend on them. But
that's already been a rumor for a long time, that they've been remaking Final Fantasy IX. I don't know if that's the truth.
I was reading about 8. I thought that was going to be the next remake, because that's like like the redheaded stepchild of Final Fantasy games, and you know it's built quite a following.
Oh, okay. No, I don't. I mean, I would love it if they did that one, because that's one of the ones I've never really played. Yeah. But no, I mean, the remake rumor that I saw was Final Fantasy IX's being remade.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that was like kind of a big rumor from last year.
That was actually a really fun game, though. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind that one being redone.
I mean, I would love it if they remade 8 and made it fun, like, you know, 7 Remake is. Like, not that 7 Remake's our favorite game. We've talked about our issues with it. But I still think it's 100 times more enjoyable than the original is in terms of just gameplay. I think people having issues with the story makes sense, because I think there's a lot of, like, sniffing your own farts from the writers in terms of their story stuff. But, yeah, the actual, like, gameplay I thought was pretty solid in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, I was really stoked when that game came out, and I loved playing it. I enjoyed my time with it, but once it was over, I was like, okay. Like, I mean, I'm not in a super big hurry to revisit. And so now, after seeing the trailer for Part 2, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to play it for sure, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this game to come out.
And you've also like never even played the DLC. That is something new that you could play. That's in the same combat. So you don't even care about revisiting that, the thing that you supposedly bought the PS5 for.
I know. I need to sit down and play that.
You're a bad jank. We're going to have to get the spray bottle out for you, my boy. Okay, so that was the Square Enix showcase. Really very, very little to announce beyond that. They talked about some more Overwatch 2 stuff. I didn't find it very interesting. I don't think we're the crowd to react about that. There was rumors that there was going to be a new Nintendo Direct for the end of this month.
What's going on with that?
So there is a Direct coming this week. By the time you listen to this, it will have happened. But it is it's supposedly only about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I think everybody needs to reset their expectations that an actual big Direct is coming this month at all, and stick to the idea that maybe September, which used to be their big Direct month, is when we'll get it. I'm disappointed, man. To be honest with you, it's not like I'm disappointed in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That'll be neat. I'll probably watch a little bit of this Direct to see if I should buy it day one or not. But I'm just disappointed that Nintendo has like nothing that I really care about this year. I mean, the Mario Strikers game came out. I don't think it looked really good. It didn't review very well, and I've heard it's not very fun if you're single player, which is mainly how I'd be playing it.
That seems to be like a new thing, though, for these offshoot Mario games. Like, they look really fun in trailers, but then when the games come out, you just hear about all these problems that they have.
Well, I mean, they're all being designed like in the Mario Party style, where it's like there's not really much meat to the game. It's all just like, oh, hey, you have friends, right? Every game's fun with friends, right? So let's count on people playing with their friends.
Because I was really excited about Mario Golf, and then after we talked about that one, I kept reading about it. Like, it's not designed for somebody like me who just likes to play games by themselves.
Well, I think the frustrating thing about Mario Golf is they've made a golf game already that people like revere, which is the Mario Golf GBA game, which is a legit RPG with RPG elements that you walk around the kingdom and challenge people to golf. So they could have just done that on the Switch and people would have been ecstatic, mind blown, all that stuff. But instead they created like a really generic arcadey sports game. And honestly, this year has what? Xenoblade Chronicles 3 coming out, the Fire Emblem 3 Houses Dynasty Warriors game coming out next week, and Splatoon 3. And it's like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is probably the biggest game I'm excited for left. I don't know, man. My gardeners are really upset. They were about to come attack me if you can hear them. That's why they like Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That's their favorite game. So they're really pissed off I didn't say it. But beyond Kirby, there hasn't been... Like, I just haven't touched my Switch much this year. I played Pokemon Legends a ton in January, and I played some Kirby, and that's it. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I really turned it on, except for to make sure the battery wasn't, dying. It's
funny, too. Like, I remember even up until last year, like, you can go into Target, and they wouldn't have any Nintendo Switches. But I've noticed in the past few months, like, I can go to any store, and they have an abundance of Switches.
Yeah, sorry, I just had an ambulance coming because they hated what you had to say. They wanted to protect Nintendo's rights.
Reggie's dehydrated in the closet.
Yeah, well, he's pretty pissed at us right now. Yeah, I mean, the Switch needs to do something, in my opinion, to make it exciting again. They need to release like a Mario game or a Zelda game or something that we just haven't expected. Something that's going to blow it out of the park. I mean, there's this rumors that they have the Twilight Princess and Wind Waker remakes are already done, or not remakes, but like remasters of the Wii U games are already done and waiting to launch. Metroid Prime Trilogy is waiting to launch. Like, all these games are supposedly already done, that they can move them around. But I feel like because they have a game coming out every month, they don't care, And it's like, well, what if you're not interested in that game? Then you just wait, 6 months? Like, because, you got Xenoblade, and then I don't think they have an August game of their own. And then you got Splatoon 3. And yeah, I'll pick up Live Alive. I forgot about that for a minute. Like, that looked neat. That RPG, I believe it comes out in
Valkyrie
July.
Profile too. Isn't that supposed to be coming out?
No,
this
that's the PS exclusive. You're thinking of the Dio Field Chronicles, which doesn't have a release date that I know of other than 2022. Which, yeah, sure. Because it's like, who knows? And that's not even a big game. But Live Alive is that Super Nintendo RPG that's coming out to Switch as like the Octopath Traveler 2D HD remake. That looks really neat. It's coming out July 22nd. I think I'm more excited for that than Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So it's like, I'll probably pick up that on Switch, but who knows? If that's coming to PC, I might actually just get on my deck. Everything runs better there.
Might as well, yeah. I mean, and here with Xenoblade Chronicles, like I love those games and I love spending time in them, but that's the thing though. Like I don't have enough time to spend in these games to play them to the end of them. Like these Xenoblade games are huge. I've never once like I've invested. I think the first one I invested like 30 hours into, and I still didn't finish it.
Yeah, I would like to finish one of them at some point, and I like the first one. I think that's my favorite of the group was Xenoblade Chronicles, whatever the remake was called. But yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was neat. It was just extremely anime, and it was like really dorky in a lot of ways, and I didn't love the combat either, so I just couldn't get into it. I know the doctor finished it and loved it and spent 100 hours in it and all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm not the type of gamer anymore where I really want to have to look up online how to max, my whatevers and how to get the best gotcha things. And I want to play the game and have fun, and I want it to be interesting. I want to keep me entertained, which I feel like that's what most gamers want, right? And I feel like there's this other subset that like loves Diablo games where it's like, I want to get this armor that's going to upgrade my stat by 1 point. I don't like that's cool in a game to have that, but that can never be the draw of the game for me. The draw can't be I'm going to upgrade this one stat one time by going to do this dungeon.
I mean, and very seldom is that worth the time you put into it.
Yeah. So yeah, man, it's it's weird. I was really disappointed when I saw the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct, just because I do think it means there's no other Nintendo Direct this month. That would be wild if they did 2 back to back. But if they do, great. Otherwise, it feels like September around Splatoon 3 is when we'll get the next Direct, because I don't think they've announced anything else for the rest of this year. I know Bayonetta 3 is coming out at some point, which, again, I'm not very interested in, but I know it's coming out. And, yeah, otherwise, Nintendo has like a really, really quiet year. And the next time I'm going to be really excited is when they announce Breath of the Wild 2 or a new Mario. I mean, I'll probably play the new Mario Rabbids game if that comes out, but Ubisoft's been in a really weird place recently. Mm-hmm. Like, they did an announcement showcase last week even, and I couldn't even tell you what.
So it was in kind of like an anniversary announcement or anniversary showcase of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And it was the Origins, and it basically, like, I thought that they were going to be announcing new Assassin's Creed. Allegedly, they're having another conference in September that's going to be talking about the future of the franchise, is what they said during this stream. But for the most part, this was just the creator or the director of the game talking with people that work at Ubisoft about the game while they played it.
Dude, how weird is it how much Ubisoft has changed from the days when we used to be so excited for their games.
You got the massive conferences, and yeah, it was not what I was expecting. And then they went on to announce like a bunch of new like comic books and novels and things like that. And then they did announce and then they announced a final DLC for Valhalla, but it's a roguelike.
Oh man. I really just I don't know, man.
Like, yeah, they talked about it being like everyone does this, it's like it's a Dark Souls type game, everyone says that, and they're like it's designed to where the more you die, the stronger you get, or something like that. So I don't know. It's
well, that's not how Dark Souls works at all. It's not the more you die, the stronger you get. Yeah. It's that dying is part of the game's thing, and you're going to get stronger if you keep leveling up, and you just have to die to get better. But you're not getting better by dying. You're going to keep fighting and learning the game.
Yeah, the guy talking didn't really seem to know, what he was saying. But
talking about, I feel like that company's in such a strange place. Like, they didn't do a showcase this year. They have that weird Prince of Persia remake we talked about that's in limbo. They've got their Skull and Bones in limbo.
Yeah, exactly. That one's been, another one that's hitting almost 10 years in production now.
I'm just waiting for them to get bought. That's literally all I'm waiting for Ubisoft, is to get that day announcement where it's like Microsoft or Sony buys Ubisoft. That's literally it at this point, because there's nothing else exciting going on with them.
Yeah, and wasn't there like another private company interested in purchasing them?
I mean, a while ago there was an old company interested in purchasing them, but there were rumors that somebody was going to purchase them this year. I can't remember who it was, but Who knows, man? I mean, this year's been really strange because Microsoft and Sony announced that they had lots of acquisitions under their belt after a crazy January, and then we've had nothing. Nothing. Yeah. It's been quiet on the front. You know, Sony bought Bungie, Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, and I know they have to wait for both of those deals to go through, but it's just funny because they created acquisition departments, and it's like, what is that guy doing? Just chilling? You know, like,
yeah.
They just pay him to drink and smoke weed, man. That's what he does every day.
Because
acquisitions department.
At this point, though, like they're these companies, Sony and Microsoft, they're getting investigated every time they acquire a company now. So I feel like they now have to wait until these deals go through and all like the labor, what do you call it? The people who check for like monopolies on things, like they have to investigate all this before.
I mean, I think it's the SEC. I can't remember what it is. The Security Exchange Commissions or the federal whatever.
Yeah,
anti-union.
Make sure that everything's kosher before they're able to like announce that. Like they can't announce they're acquiring another company before the deal has gone through for another one. I feel like.
Oh, I totally agree. I just still feel like we're in this weird E3 finished. It was a pretty fun, exciting week, but like you and I talked about, this year is still going to feel slow. You know, there's still going to be fun stuff to play, but there's nothing nearly as exciting as the beginning half of this year. I think the only thing that will be as exciting, and we'll see if it actually happens, is if God of War Ragnarok actually comes out this year.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of faith it's going to. And I also don't have a lot of faith it's going to be nearly as exciting as the first one was, which I had my own issues with, because it seems like the second one is just more of the first one. It seems like it was a DLC they blew up.
I think that was, Cory Barlog had said that he had this DLC plan. They're like, well, that's a game, so let's just make it into a game. And I think that's what Ragnarok is.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Overall, I'm excited. We got a Cuphead DLC coming out next week for $8. I'll get into that. Like, I'll play that. There's little things here and there, but it's nothing like to be doom and gloom on gaming. Yeah. But yeah, it does feel like we've got a quiet patch till at least Gamescom in August. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think anything's going to be announced in July. So, and I could be wrong. Hopefully I am wrong. But yeah, man, I think you'll hear us talking more about like Jurassic Park Dominion more, because that's our favorite thing to talk about on this podcast.
I want to ask you a question before we sign off here. We never got a chance to talk about, because this was during like the break that we had, Sonic Frontiers. Though, what do you think about the footage shown of that?
I mean, it looks bad, but I've heard it's fun from people. So yeah, I think it looks real bad. But here's the thing: if it comes out and people say it's fun, I'm happy to give it a shot. Like, this is a slow enough year where if it comes out and people are like, oh, it's pretty fun to run around this open zone, as they call it, like open little world. I'm excited. But I don't think it looks very good.
It looks like a step in the right direction, though, for Sonic, because most of the time the games, the past few games have been adaptations of the kids shows, but now this seems to be like a genuinely like more grown-up version of Sonic, kind of like when Mario went into the Mario 64. Like, this feels like this is what that franchise needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying it's bad at all. I think it looks really interesting, but I just think the combat, and maybe I should rephrase that. I did say it doesn't look good, but I don't mean like it looks like trash fire. I just mean like it looks janky. It doesn't look very polished. Doesn't look like the enemy variety seems very fun or interesting. I haven't played it yet. I think the best thing they could do is, if it's actually good, they should put out a demo. If it's not good, then don't put out a demo, and it will sell to Sonic fans, which is who they're probably trying to go after anyways. But if it's actually semi-good, put out a demo, because I will tell you, I was really excited for Balan's Wonderworld before that game came out, and that demo single-handedly taught me a valuable lesson about being excited for a Sega game. I loved it. I bought 2 copies. That was what it taught me, is I just can't buy 1. I got to buy 2. No, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, if it's good, they need to let us try it, because the previews have been all over the place for this game. So, and the reaction to a lot of people saying like, delay Sonic Frontiers does not inspire a lot of confidence. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn more about it. But for the game itself, I'm not expecting anything.
It looks cool to me. I do want to play it. I hope that I'm not setting my expectations too high, though.
Did you look at the combat trailer, though? Because that's the one that really... Okay, because that's the one that sold me off of it. It took me away from it. It sold me from buying the game, if that makes sense. It took away my sale. So I actually thought the first video was pretty sweet, like the one where he was like running around the landscapes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that one was good. I thought the combat one was like, oh, this doesn't look fun at all. So we'll see. But dude, Sonic is not here yet, and we have to leave because I can't be on this podcast with you till Sonic Frontiers comes out. I know you want to talk to me all day and neglect your family, and you just want to talk about Sonic Frontiers till we're done.
Yes.
But till we peace out, my bros, is there anything else you want to add to the listener? These people who love you, they're kissing your face. They're sending you kisses nonstop.
Yeah. Just check us out. iTunes, Anchor.fm. Tell your moms and grandmas about us, please.
iTunes, Triple X Hub, Pornhub, PornZoo.biz, Farmers Only, OnlyFans. We've got it's Periscope. We're on there. We're doing stuff on
Plenty of Fish.
Vine. We revived Vine. I bought a Vine URL so you can find our videos. We're the only non-7-second video on Vine. We're actually the only video because we just bought Vine. There's Only Fish and OnlyFans. One is just a Christian version of the other. And Fish. We're on the Fish.
Check out on the Fish. You check out our TikTok where Brank is throwing real fish.
I'm doing mad dabbing, man. I'm doing all the dance moves to get you guys hyped. I'm doing a dabs. I'm doing a side swing. I'm doing all of them. You know, all the ones that we all know and love. Okay, so my goal is to get you guys on us no matter what, and send those likes and subscribes. Okay, just send those likes and subscribes.
Smash
to the
that
screen.
like button.
Smash that button. Give us those comments. Just let us live our lives.
Oh, yeah.